So I'm back to my usual surroundings. I'm back here in the spare room. I have been out all day. I've been working with my two ladies. I've done various work today with both of them. I think it's about 5 o'clock now. So I will be going and getting my dinner, but I've come up to start on the things that I want to get done next, and that is my resin work. So I'm going to show you what I'm up to. So I'm currently working on these pieces. What they are is quilled paper set inside resin, so it actually makes a wearable piece of paper jewellery. What I'm trying to do with them is, you can see from these two pieces, when I've poured the resin, in some of the pieces it's poured nice and smooth to the edge, but then other pieces it's actually gone quite jagged, and that's going to be quite sharp for someone to wear. It's just not going to be suitable. So what I need to do is file down the edges, which I'm doing on this piece, and I'm actually making it more solid on the edges. I'm currently working on this piece. As you can see, I've taken the edges all the way in and around. I'm still going to leave a lip because I think it's just aesthetically pleasing. There's also something about the reflected light that leaves, when the edges are polished, it actually leaves an edge of colour away from the colour paper. It kind of reflects the colour. It's something that I like. All I've been doing is using a nail file, creating a lot of mess, and just filing the edges down. I've made sure the file is slightly wet so that I'm not causing too much dust, but I'm just shaping them into a shape that I'm happy with. Once I'm done with this, the reason I'm shaping the edge now is because when I turn them over, the back, you can see it's slightly duller than these shinier pieces. So that back is actually the texture of these mats that I set them on. And what I need to do is put a dome of resin over the back so that it's nice and smooth all the way around. But before I do that, I want an edge that the resin can dome up against. So this is going to be my work for the rest of tonight, and the next day probably, because it's going to take some patience to get them looking the shapes that I want them to, with the right amount of distance away. Some of them, like these more rounded ones that have come out quite nicely, I think I'm actually going to leave that as is and just dome the back in that shape, and it's just going to be a slightly bigger, slightly chunkier pendant. It can be something that's then worn lower down on a really long leather cord or something. I could probably do some of this using an electronic tool like a Dremel or something, but I don't know if I'd have enough control, and I wouldn't want to wreck them and make them look... Because as soon as I lose control of the Dremel and it scuffs the surface, then I'm stuffed. I need this bit to be looked after, and by doing it by hand, I think I've got the best chance of this remaining shiny. So the shape is going there. I'm trying to get an even edge all the way round. I think that one is pretty much there, and then I'll be able to dome the back. This is one that's got a very sharp bumpy edge on it, and all I'm going to do is file this off. And due to the nature of the resin, every piece is going to be slightly different. They're not all going to be exactly identical thicknesses. They're not going to be identical shapes. The same with the paper inside isn't identical to the next. Every piece of this is going to be unique. It's going to be its own little piece of art. I can see this is going to end up hurting my wrists. Although I'm doing this for the camera, so ordinarily I'd be down on the table. You can see already it's taken the sharp edge off and it's leaving me a nice smooth finish. Just so you've got a little bit more of an up close view, you can see from this picture you've got the one edge that's now been started to smooth, and you can see the difference here and why I'm going to need to do that, because that is quite a sharp edge all the way around there. So I have these larger pendants that I'm doing, 5 of those at the moment. I still have some to the side that I will be doing, but I want to concentrate on this little batch first. And then after I've done these, I then move on to the smaller little earrings, and I've still got to add some resin to some of these. Some of the others are done, so again I'll be filing the edges. And although that one's quite a nice shape, I like that one. I might end up just doming the back, and then that may be finished as a pendant. And then I've got a whole batch of longer either pendants or earrings. I think it's going to depend on how the resin has poured. You can see where the way the resin pours, every shape is different. No two are going to be the same, even for a pair of earrings. They're definitely unique. They're something that I'm enjoying doing. So I'm going to keep working on them and get them into some shapes that I like. And then hopefully by tomorrow I'll be able to come back in here and pour the domes on the back. Hopefully the next time you see them they're going to look a lot prettier. I'll be back again soon.